It's Sunday morning, 7:23 a.m. I've never recorded at this time, ever. It's the day after Chicago comes back and beats Green Bay last night in the wild card round of the playoffs. I'm not a Green Bay fan. I'm not a Chicago fan. But I'm a longtime former coach. I'm a sports fan, and I have a sports talk show. So I love the game, and I love sports, and I follow them, and I obviously talk about them. And I talk about them through a coach's lens, and I talk about them on my platform in a life, business, and sports all goes together platform. So let me tell you something as a former coach. While never, ever, ever at the level that we witnessed last night, I was at the middle school, the high school, and the AAU level in basketball. 8 years, 7 championships, multiple camps. So I have a unique understanding, and I'm like this detailed guy and this study guy, and I get down to how can I take a program and make it great, and then how do you take that cutout, that cookie cutter, and then how do you duplicate it, replicate it, and become even better and maintain success? Getting there's one thing. Once you get there, maintaining is a whole nother. Green Bay's trying to get there, and it keeps struggling over and over and over. There's one thing about a coach, 2 things. There's 2 things about a coach that can never, ever, ever happen. You must put your players or team in a position to succeed, in a position to win at all times. You can never, and I mean never, be the reason that your team loses. Coaches make mistakes. We're human. Players make mistakes. They're human, referees, etc. No one is suggesting that Matt LaFleur should be perfect. Ben Johnson made a mistake last night. Coaches make mistakes every single week. But it is when you make those mistakes and you are so stubborn and you are so connected to analytics that you are blinded by what's actually going on in front of you. And then you become the reason or the underlying challenge and issue as to why your team can't get to the next level. This is really hard for me to say this. Not that I can't say that I'm wrong, but it's hard for me to say this about Matt LaFleur because I like Matt LaFleur. For years now, I have propped him up as a top 5 to 7 NFL head coach. And what we saw last night and what we saw leading up to last night for the better part of the last 6 weeks has led me to believe and think that Matt LaFleur should be fired immediately, as in not make it till tomorrow. It's totally unacceptable and, in my opinion, probably unrecoverable. See, players feed off of this stuff. Fans feed off of this stuff. And it's going to build into a frenzy, and it's never going away. And Matt LaFleur has nobody to blame but Matt LaFleur because there is a pattern here. And when there's a pattern, you've got to cut it out. If he isn't smart enough or able to figure it out on his own, then you have to figure it out for him. The way that you do that is by replacing him. I say this all the time, that owners have a responsibility to fans. Coaches have a responsibility to fans, and there's a lot on them. The Green Bay Packers are the only team in the 4 major sports that are owned by the fans. Green Bay deserves better than what Green Bay fans deserve better than what happened last night. It's on the screen there. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit so that you can see it a little bit. Look at the 3rd quarter production. Matt LaFleur's calling card is his ability to call offense. Look at this. Anemic. And we're talking about a Bears defense that's a sieve, by the way. They're not very good. They're a little bit opportunistic. And if you give them a chance to play chaos in a way that's chaotic and chaos, and I'll get to Caleb Williams and him being a chaos quarterback in a moment, you're up 21-3, then it gets to 21-6, and you're just middling along, and it's just middling along, and you're leaving yourself and your team as a target for the unthinkable to happen. And guess what? It happened. I just did a video on Curt Cignetti like 13, 14 days ago. And in the video, in my speaking, I cut a clip of his that talks about never letting up. This is one of the things that literally I have the goosebumps right now because I can't stand it. long before I was ever a coach, long before I was ever a business owner. You can never, ever let up. Use every tool in your box and do not stop. Understand your opponent, understand the situation. The Chicago Bears are not very good for halves and three quarters. They are extremely good in chaotic situations and rallying and coming back. The Chicago Bears fan base was looking for something to hang on to yesterday and go nuts with. You have to recognize that as a coach in an organization. You go into a stadium and you rip the life right out of it. And they started to do that. You're up 21-3. It does not stop. You took the ball out of Jordan Love's hands and this 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out. This is not Chicago that stopped Green Bay. It's Green Bay that stopped Green Bay. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is an over-analytical approach, and it is a conservative by nature approach that put that whole game in jeopardy yesterday. Yeah, McManus, make your extra point. McManus, make your field goal. Here's what I want to tell you guys. And again, I don't have all the answers, and I never coached at that level. Matt LaFleur is far more successful in coaching than I ever was or ever would be. Okay? I'm here to say that. So before you give me all the hate in the comments about what did I achieve and what level did I achieve, understand that I believe that and that I know that. Oh, my goodness. You have weapons and you have all the tools. You have lots of players all over the field to make all sorts of plays. And for some reason, you pull off the gas and you're looking at your sheet in your hand and you're saying, this is what I should do here and this is what I should do there. There's no feel there. There's no feel. There's no recognition of the situation and the circumstance at hand. Know your opponent. Coaches talk about this all the time, situational awareness. You cannot talk to your team about situational awareness if you yourself don't have situational awareness. You are at Soldier Field against the Bears, who haven't won there in forever. It's the playoffs. They're trying to turn things around. They've been a chaotic team all year long. This crazy, crazy team where all the bounces go their way. Your responsibility as a coach, as a team, and an organization is not to give them a chance to do that. The blueprint is there. We all could see how it is that they perform well. They do not perform well for first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. This is like 10, 12, 14 or so weeks of proof. And you let up. You have to play that 21-3 spread as if you are down 21-3. And you have to go completely rip the heart out. Sorry, I don't mean to talk like this, but you need to think like this as a coach. And I'm going to rip it out, and I'm going to throw it on the ground, and I'm going to step it, and I'm going to leave it there, bleeding on the ground. And I'm going to walk out scoring a 50-piece against a defense that was ready to quit. Did you see the fans in Chicago? Did you see them looking around in complete disbelief or getting our doors blown off? That's precisely what you're looking to achieve. And what happens is that energy in that building, that starts to resonate down into the players. And then you start questioning yourself. And then your performance level drops. And then it gets to 28-3 or 28-6 or 28-10. Then it's 35, 42, and 45 and 52 and so on. It's attitude. It's approach. It's process. It's system. And Matt LaFleur got in his own way. He got into his team's way. He got into his stars' way. He got into the organization's way. And he got into the fans' way. And he took something away from the fans that they so desperately deserve. You, as a coach, are responsible for never putting the game in jeopardy and having it come down to an extra point or field goal. McManus is paid to make those kicks. I'm not here to argue and say that it's okay and he gets some kind of pass. But when you go about a situation, you go about a game, and the momentum changes over tenfold like that, you're now taking an ordinary field goal or an ordinary extra point in a relatively ordinary field goal, and you're pressure cooking it. You are pressuring the kick. Okay? Again, that's a human kicking the ball. That's a human snapping it. That's a human holding it. And that's a human kicking it. You got the fans in a frenzy. The whole building is on fire, basically. And everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. I'm sitting there watching it and I say out loud, he's going to miss this kick because of the moment. And sometimes the moment can be bigger than the player or the team or the situation. The key is to not allow that. Now, it comes down to that in certain games. There's certain ways that you can, that it's, you can't prevent it. It's just going to happen. But this is a Green Bay theme. This is a LaFleur theme. This is not producing for 60 minutes, game in, game out, week in, week out. This is a problem. It is systemic. And it comes from, in my opinion, the way that his mind works. And he's in this, I believe, this tug of war internally and inside his head and in his mind. Should I or shouldn't I? And there's an uncertainty there. And that's coming out through the players and the team. That's my opinion. And the fans are extremely frustrated about it. That is a complete and total bottoming out live on television for the world to see. And folks, it didn't start last night. And it didn't start with the Micah Parsons injury either. This has been going on for weeks and weeks of underperforming. It's I say this to my wife and I say this to people all the time. Ever notice when you're driving on the road, and I'm Mr. Analogy guy, sorry. When you're noticing, when you're on the road and you look at traffic and you look at the way people drive around you, people create their own traffic jams. They don't get from point A to point B quickly and then slow down. They don't accelerate at lights and they're just, taking their own time. And then the three cars behind them that they act like that doesn't exist, those people get caught for a light. And if you live in Florida like me, 2 to 3 minutes goes by. You lose 2 to 3 minutes out of your day. You get to the next light. Somebody else does that. Everybody's frustrated. That's when accidents happen. That's when speeding tickets happen. That's when you're late for work or for wherever it is you're supposed to be. And that situation was self-created. That's the analogy of what I'm giving to you about Green Bay. That loss last night was self-created. That is way more about Green Bay not doing what they were supposed to do than it is about Chicago doing what it is to do, what they needed to do. Green Bay gave the opportunity, and they kept on giving the opportunity. And you do that enough, any team, mostly any team is going to seize on that moment, particularly a team at home in the playoffs that has been known for that all season long. You just can't do it. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, you're meeting, I don't know, what time is it now? 7:36 a.m. on Sunday morning. You basically call an emergency meeting with LaFleur. He's in the office at 10 a.m., let's say, because it's Sunday. You can see the picture right there. He's down and out. That is from last night, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If not, there's one just like that from last night. He was defeated last night. He was speaking defeated. And it's time to defeat him. And there are coaches available right now. And I'll say his name. And John Harbaugh's made a lot of mistakes. And John Harbaugh suffers from very similar problems as LaFleur does. He gets conservative by nature. You cannot be conservative. Did anybody watch Cignetti the other night put up another 50 spot? You do not stop. You do not stop doing what got you there. You keep the foot down until the end of the game. Now, you got to kneel at the end or you've got to cut clock in the last minute or two. That's one thing. Not in the second quarter. It's human nature. It's the human element to let down. So you have to work against that by teaching and coaching against that. It has to be in the fabric of you as a coach and as a team to constantly remind yourself to never, ever do that. People like Belichick did that. Ever notice Belichick just kept going? It was 35, 42, 49, 56. Nick Saban, much the same. Cignetti, much the same. And he talks about it. He tells you he's going to come do it. Dan Campbell's another one who does that. Oh, why did you put up 52 points? It's like people are going about the game and they're thinking to themselves, I don't know, should I keep on going? Yeah. Leave nothing to chance. Leave no room for error. Leave no opportunity for the other team. You get them all the way to the edge of the diving board, push them in. Don't give them a reason to stand there and start bouncing, right? And it's a stupid analogy, but it's true. Don't give any life. Take it away. You see the two guys on the corner behind me here? You see Belichick in the middle, and you can't see But right behind me is Tom Brady. Each of those people will look to take your lights out. It's part of why they're on my sign. Jordan, cold-blooded killer. Kobe, cold-blooded killer. Dan Campbell, he'll take you out. Bill Belichick, he'll take you out. Brady, Tommy Hearns, the hitman, Tiger Woods. The disposition of each of those guys is I'm going to take everything you got, and then I'm going to take your lunch and I'm going to eat it in front of you. There's a mentality, and LaFleur doesn't have it. I'm sorry. He's too nice of a guy. He doesn't have it. Bury him somewhere in a staff as an offensive assistant or something, but you ain't got it, bro. And your team should be pissed at you. Your fan base should be pissed at you. The management group should be pissed at you. All upper management, all the shareholders of the Green Bay Packers should be furious, and they should demand his firing today. This is not a one-off. This is not once. This is a pattern with this guy, and it doesn't stop. He hasn't learned. And listen, this whole Matthew Golden thing all year long, and you saw it last night, there's no excuse. That's coaching, folks. That is coaching. You are not getting, and there's a lot to go around. I got it. They got a full receiver room. But then you come out and your assistant coach is talking about, he's just this and he's that. No, he's your best Watson's very good, but he's your best wide receiver there. And he has basically an unlimited ceiling, and you're not using him. And then you use him yesterday all of a sudden when you're up against it. It's a philosophy, folks. I'll close with this. It's a philosophy. It's an approach, right? It's a behavioral trait, and it's a mindset within your entire team. And he doesn't have it. And Harbaugh's the big name on the block. Harbaugh's a lot the same way. He's very, very conservative by nature. He's not, I'm going to rip your heart out. He's not, I'm going to eat your lunch and dinner, and then I'm going to come back for seconds and thirds like it's the Golden Corral. He's not built that way either. So I don't know if it's the perfect switch, but you have to switch out of this because it will repeat itself. History tends to do that if you don't change it. They have an opportunity in Green Bay to change this. You cannot go into next year like this. You just can't. Now this is going to fester all year long. Everybody's going to be sick about this. I always use the basketball analogy of way back in the day, basketball. I will close with this. 2 minutes. The Celtics had to beat the Lakers, and it took a long time. They overtook the Lakers. The Pistons had to take a long time to overtake the Celtics. The Bulls had to take a long time to overtake the Pistons. Each of those that I just listed did it. But each year they were getting better and better and better. And there was a certain nuance or circumstance that prevented them from winning. Adrian Dantley and Vinnie Johnson diving for the ball. They clashed heads, and guys were out for the next game with concussions. So there's certain things like that. Isaiah's ankle injury against the Lakers, as an example, where he still scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. There are certain things that you could look to say, hey, that's a legitimate reason why we came up short. Let's come back next year harder than ever. You're going to come back with that mentality, with this guy leading you next year? No one's going to support it. The fans won't support it. The players won't support it. They're frustrated. People want to win, generally speaking, in life and certainly in football, and people want to be led. A lot of people don't understand this. People want to be led. They want to be guided. They don't want to be told what to do, but they want to be led. They want to be guided, and they want to know that someone's got their back and that they can trust. And right now, unfortunately, as a man, yes, they can trust him. As a coach, they can't trust him. And if I'm the Green Bay brass, I don't trust him either. Matt LaFleur should get his walking papers today. Waste no time. Get in this coaching hire cycle. Make the best possible decision. Get a new aggressive mind in there. You have talent. This is not a start over. This is not a rebuild, but in terms of talent, in terms of your full team, but it is of your coach. Get it done today, Green Bay. I feel for your fans, for you guys, man. That's a tough beat, and it shouldn't have come down that way. And you guys are all going to hold McManus to the fire, and to some degree you should, but it isn't really on him. It's on the man in this screen who allowed it to get to that position. And when you allow it to get to that position, crazy things can happen. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the game. Follow us on X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. Scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner. Follow us on YouTube if you like this and our other material. Have a great day, everybody. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is short. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.